So today I'm going to go over the different consoles that Nintendo has made. The first console they ever made was the Color TV game, which was a Pong system released primarily in Japan. It was made after Nintendo realized that Atari's Pong was making a huge amount of money over in North America. And so they made a relatively easy, relatively cheap version of it and sold it in Japan, much lower than of any of the other prices they were selling over there. There were multiple different variations of Pong, which could add like shields, almost paddles, or smaller paddles, and it could be run by different power sources like a power cord or batteries. They released multiple versions of this. The one I have right here is the Color TV Game 6. They've also had the 15, the Racing One 12, and the Computer TV game. The next console that Nintendo released would be the Nintendo Entertainment System, one of the most uh, one of the most successful consoles that they've ever made. Um, it was most successful in sales and in ingenuity, as it's one of the first consoles to use a ROM cartridge for video games. Um, they also put some of their more popular arcade games on this console, such as Donkey Kong and Mario, two of their most beloved franchises for now, in the modern day. Um, this NES also gave birth to like Legend of Zelda and the Mother franchises, which are also beloved. This uh, it sold 62 million units, which is quite a bit actually, and it was made to improve in every way on the Game Color TV, so that they want to get like copyright strikes for using Pong. They're under heavy gunfire for that. But then after a little bit, they decided to upgrade it to the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, which run more powerful games and sold 300,000 units in its first 2 weeks in Japan. Um, it's they basically were dominating the video game world. This one was just made so they could have a more powerful system, and that would get them more money and such. But um, then near the end of the life cycle, they started creating more 3D-ish games, such as Mario RPG that not many people know about, which perfectly leads into the Nintendo 64. That would be a bad picture I have. I don't know how to draw it really. But so it was one of the first consoles to be made using 64 bits, which could make the graphics even better, gameplay better, all sorts of everything better. Unfortunately, their controller wasn't that good, but also around this time they tried to make the Virtual Boy, which is just a virtual reality thing. I don't have a picture of it, but it wasn't very good. They only had two colors, red and black. But the N64 is one of the most recognized video game systems ever. It's um it sold 33 million units worldwide in 1 year, which is quite a bit, especially for a console. This is going to get beaten out though, but so after the N64, they made the GameCube, which wasn't as liked, I don't think. Um, it was one of the fastest selling video game consoles in the US of all time, with 500,000 units sold. And at the end of its production, like when it finally stopped making them, it sold 81 million units. So I guess it was more popular. It did struggle against its rivals, though. Like the Xbox and the PlayStation, those are kind of hard to go against. But Yeah, the GameCube, they just improved on the N64, especially with controller. The controller is so much better. You could hook up your Game Boy. You could hook like your or you hook up your other Game Boy, but this one could have both the Game Boy and the Game Boy Advance version. And this is also the first one of their things to use a CD reader, so that they could put bigger games with more stuff and better graphics on there. These CDs also led them to help make the Wii. I know it's wrong, but the Wii, nothing, but the Wii was supposed to be more of a casual focused one, so that they could hit more people. It would still be good for more like competitive players, but families and casual people just really hit with, because the motion sensing, which also like the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation, they also had their own version of motion sensing. But in my opinion, I'm pretty sure that we had the best kind, because they didn't rely on a camera that didn't really track it or whatever the PlayStation had. But yeah, this is also the one of the second most successful console ever, with 101 million units sold worldwide, making it the most successful console of its generation. So, and then the packaged in Wii Sports also became one of the highest selling video games of all time. So, they earned quite a bit of money with it. It um it did have some kind of graphic downsides to some of the other games, like like for some it just didn't look as good with the other consoles, but the fact that it was like more casual based, and um they could like they could play with their family easier, and also just the fact that it was Nintendo, I'm pretty sure that edged it out over the competitors. After a little bit, Nintendo decided to make a successor to it, the Wii U. But the Wii U, they did not advertise it in the slightest. So that's really good. The Wii U is basically just the Wii with improved graphics and a controller called the Gamepad. People were really confused about it though, because they were like, "Oh, it's just a controller, right? So we don't need to buy it." So the Wii U, only sold like 13 million units, which is nothing compared to everything else. That's like a tenth of what the previous one brought in. And Nintendo realized they would have to change up their kind of stuff, and so they released the good old Switch, which was like a combination of the old gamepad kind of design, but and still like had the Wii motion sensing. Um, this is it's the Switch sold like over 100 million units, I think. Um, but yeah, they got 55 million units in 3 years, and they're still selling them to this day. Um, they had to release a smaller version for people who like didn't have a TV, so they kind of do all of it more affordable, so that more people could buy it. And the more powerful version, more powerful, so that could run better graphics, had more storage. But yeah, the console combined like the gamepad control, like the GameCube's controller layout kind of thing, like felt really good with the Wii U's motion, like the Wii's motion, and the Wii U's gamepad to create like Nintendo's ultimate console. So yeah, they they really put out a bunch of great consoles over the years. Even the Wii U wasn't loved, but it's it's pretty good in my opinion. Yeah.